Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to follow a developer's journey on Microsoft Azure. We're going to see how a single line of code turns into a full-blown, secure, and scalable cloud application. We're not just going to list a bunch of services. We're building a story here, from the very first digital brick all the way to the final launch. So we'll follow this journey through 5 key stages. We'll lay the foundation, build a fortress around it, create an automated factory, wire up all the connectors, and then finally manage the whole thing from the control room. Think of it less like a list and more like a blueprint. Let's dive in with part 1, the foundation. All right, first things first. Every single application out there needs 2 fundamental things: a place for its code to actually run, and of course, a place for all its data to live. This is ground zero. This is our foundation. Now, for our main application, the website or the API that users interact with, we're going to use Azure App Service. Honestly, you can just think of it as the perfect home for your code. It's what we call a fully managed platform, which is just a fancy way of saying Azure handles all the boring stuff: the servers, the maintenance, the security patches, so we can focus on what we actually care about, building cool features. But what about those small, little pieces of code that only need to run when something very specific happens? For example, what if you want to resize an image the instant a user uploads it? Well, for that, we have Azure Functions. It's serverless, which means it literally just springs to life when it's triggered, does its one job, and then goes right back to sleep. And the best part, you only pay for that split second it's actually running. Okay, let's talk data. Azure gives us a whole toolbox, not just one single hammer. So if we're storing unstructured stuff like images, videos, or log files, blob storage is our go-to. Easy. But for structured data that we need to pull up really fast, like user profiles or something, table storage gives us a super fast, scalable NoSQL solution. At the end of the day, it's all about choosing the right tool for the job. Okay, so our app is running. It's got a place for its data, but right now, it's got the doors wide open. It's completely exposed. So let's build a fortress around it. We need to carefully manage who gets in and how the app handles sensitive stuff like passwords and connection strings. So the first rule of application security is: you do not store passwords or secrets in your code, ever. Instead, we put all our secrets, our keys, our certificates, all that good stuff, into a highly secured digital safe called Azure Key Vault. It keeps everything locked down and in one central place. So you might be wondering, how does our app get secrets from this vault without needing a password for the vault itself? Because then we'd just be back where we started, right? Well, the answer is a really clever feature called a managed identity. Azure can actually give our application its very own unique identity, kind of like a user account, but for a piece of software. And this is where the magic really happens. Our app service, which now has its own managed identity, can be given permission to access the Key Vault directly. See? No passwords, no connection strings floating around in our code. It is a seamless and incredibly secure way for your Azure services to talk to each other. We grant these permissions using something called Role-Based Access Control, or RBAC, and it's pretty much as simple as it sounds. You define who, that's the security principal, like our app's identity; what they can do, that's the role, like reader; and on which resource, that's the scope, like our key vault. It's exactly like giving a specific key to a specific person for one specific room. And that's it. All right, our app is built and it's secure. That's great. But deploying updates by hand? It's slow, it's super easy to make mistakes, and it can even cause downtime for our users. So let's stop doing that and instead build an automated assembly line factory for our application. For modern apps, containers are pretty much king. They package up our code and all the stuff it depends on into one neat little unit. Azure gives us 2 main ways to run them. For our main long-running application that needs to scale and talk to other services, we'd probably choose Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS, for all its orchestration power. But for a quick one-off task, like that image resizing from before, Azure Container Instances, or ACI, lets us just fire up a container instantly with zero management overhead. So here's the million-dollar question. How do we update our live application without users ever noticing a single hiccup? Well, App Service has this incredible feature called deployment slots. We can deploy our new code to a staging slot, test it out to make sure everything's good, and then, with just one click, Azure instantly swaps the staging and production slots. The traffic just redirects seamlessly. It's a true zero downtime release. Pretty cool, right? This whole automated process, we call it CI/CD for continuous integration and deployment, is powered by a whole suite of tools. Azure DevOps gives us everything we need: repos for our source code, pipelines to automate the build and deploy process, and even boards to plan and track our work. It's the whole factory floor for our app, all in one place. So our application doesn't live in a bubble, right? It needs to communicate reliably with other services, and it needs to react instantly when things happen out in the world. It needs connectors. Now, this is a really important distinction to understand, the difference between sending a direct message and broadcasting an event. For guaranteed order delivery of a command, like, hey, process this order, we use Azure Service Bus. Think of it like a postman, making sure a letter gets to one specific address. But for broadcasting a notification that something just happened, like a new file was created, we use Event Grid. That's more like a news alert system that many different subscribers can all react to at once. And to manage how the outside world actually talks to our app, we put a dedicated gateway right at the front door, Azure API Management. It acts like a protective layer, or a bouncer. It handles security, it prevents abuse with rate limiting, and it gives us really valuable analytics on who is using our APIs and how. Okay, we're on the home stretch. Our app is live, it's secure, it's automated, and it's connected. The last and absolutely critical step is to build a control room, a place where we can watch over it 24/7 and make sure everything is running perfectly. The heart of our control room is Azure Monitor. It's the central hub that automatically sucks in, analyzes, and acts on data from all of our Azure resources. It's our single pane of glass, our mission control for the health of the entire application. Monitor basically collects two main types of data. First, you've got metrics. These are just numbers, right? Like CPU percentage or server response time. They tell you what is happening. Then you have logs. These are the detailed text-based records of what went on. Logs are what help you figure out why something is happening. And you absolutely need both to get the full picture. And this whole idea of getting the right data for the right job, it goes all the way down to our database. Imagine our application goes global, and we're using a distributed database like Azure Cosmos DB. All of a sudden, a huge part of monitoring its performance and making sure users have a good experience, it all comes down to a critical choice we have to make. A choice that boils down to just one single number. And that number is 5. See, Cosmos DB offers 5 different consistency models, which is basically a powerful tuning knob for our app's performance. For something critical, like a shopping cart, we choose strong consistency. That makes sure everyone sees the exact same data instantly, even if it's a tiny bit slower. But for something less critical, like counting likes on a post, eventual consistency is perfect. It's blazing fast, and who cares if a user in Tokyo sees the new count a few milliseconds after a user in Dublin? Making this choice is a huge part of designing a high-performance global app. And just like that, there we are. We've gone from a totally blank slate to a fully realized cloud application. We've built it, we've secured it, we've created a factory to deliver it, and we built a control room to monitor it. But you know, this journey isn't a one-time trip. It's a continuous cycle of monitoring, learning, and improving. Because in the world of the cloud, an application is never really finished. It's just ready for its next evolution.